Anyway, Big Hodge here, Big Hodge Media. And I'm here with a special friend. He has a whole bunch of tools and a whole bunch of film products going on. Every time I turn around, he's breaking out something new, saying, hey, this is the future. Introduce yourself, my friend.
My name is Stephan Brezinsky. What's up?
And don't you have a YouTube channel coming soon?
I am starting a new channel. It's my name, @Stephan Brezinsky. I'm talking all about storytelling, how to tell better, more compelling stories.
A lot of you need to learn that out there. Story first. So we were here and we was out, where we at? We was on 6th Avenue, right?
Herald Square.
Herald Square. We was in Herald Square and we was testing this thing here. We had the DTO film lens on the Blackmagic Pocket, so-called Pocket 6K Pro, because this thing is a beast right now. Yeah, it's pretty much a workout. It's not an easy task toting this lens and body around. Look at that. And it's supposed to be a pocket camera. It's not. It doesn't. Nothing pocket about it. Yeah. I had this guy. I had him teetering with it, and I just want to know your thoughts. The form factor, we already know it's like out the door. There's no such thing as a compact form factor right now, but I just want your thoughts on how you operated it, the size of it, and everything else in between. Yeah, you grab the mic. You got it.
Oh yeah, look at it.
Take control. Yeah.
It's so. It's like what is that? Like what was it? Bob Barker when he had that little microphone and he.
The Price is Right.
Yeah, and he had that little thing, and he'd be like.
Hey, I asked him if he. I'm getting strange answers today.
Spin the wheel, motherfucker. We're talking about this fucking lens.
Yes.
Right. So first. Yeah, this was my first time using this lens, and we took it out on the street, which is not my usual style of shooting, for sure. But I was impressed, like right off the bat. Like we're so used to like small lenses, and like as a full cine lens, like this is actually surprisingly small compared to like, I mean, a Cine Prime would be like twice the size. So even though I wanted to like, I felt like I wanted more zoom. Like I'm always like more, because you think it's a big lens, but it's only a 20 to 55. You don't really want to go like past 50. You know, it starts to get soft and weird. But I wanted more. I was like, I wanted to keep going. I wish there was more focal length, but like we were talking about, it would get way too big and way too heavy. So I think for such a small, light lens, that's really impressive. I like that the rings are all like accessible. Are they ideal for like a handheld? It was like with this follow focus, it was a little tough to get in like for the zoom.
Yes.
But the aperture was fine.
Mm-hmm.
I wish the ring was a little wider, the gears, so that I had something to grab. But, you know, I'm not adjusting. I'm not the type of person who shoots like constantly changing aperture. I like to kind of just get my setting, get my focal length, and just kind of sit on that. So I'm not doing a lot of kind of like, you know, lens moves.
Something that what would you use this for? What would you define as your style? Is you more like the static, more of movement? Would you find yourself more on a dolly? How would you operate this on a dolly? Would you definitely need help? Like, can you do this as a one-man band on a dolly?
Yeah, I think for me, this, as you said, like one-man band. Mm-hmm. That's a really good way to put it. I prefer normally to shoot primes, but when you are a one-man band, you don't have time to swap lenses. So I would use this as a versatile tool to avoid all that setup and breakdown. So I would still use it on sticks, but knowing that I can, you know, zoom in, zoom out in terms of adjusting my focal length. I have plenty of aperture to play with, so I get, you know, plenty of depth of focus. I would want it for that so that I don't have to mess around with like bringing 8 lenses on set and keeping things really simple. And this is like a throw it in your bag, show up. So like for a run and gun, like even doing an interview, in a situation where you're in an interview and it's like real quick on the fly, oh, well, cool, I just grab this one lens, I got this one camera, I just pop it out, boom, go. So I would like it for that, so that I had the versatility and I wouldn't have to worry about lots of other lenses. I think that would be for me.
Another question, does it bother you about the Super 35 or the full frame aspect? Because they do have a set that's for full frame. This is for the Super 35, and we know that it comes fully equipped in a set. This is the 20 to 55, and then there's also, I believe, the 55 to 125 or the 50 to 125. What we was talking about on the street was not punching in all the way to 55 because of the softness. So would this be a factor of you punching in more of like, let's say even in camera, if you switch the modes to punch in to get some crop? Is that something that you would dabble in with the crop factor? Not being able to go all the way to 55 if you want to maintain your sharpness?
Yeah, I like that you bring that up because, like, I'm one of those people in that camp, like, full frame is bullshit. Bullshit! Like, sorry, you don't need full frame. It's nonsense. Like, if we didn't have full frame as, like, an option, we wouldn't be sitting around being like, I wish my sensor was bigger. You would just work with what you had, right? So
I'm getting an IMAX.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah, I'm gonna just get an IMAX camera, biggest sensor possible. So the problem that most people have with full frame is they want more depth of field. And what that to them means more like out of focus background, not necessarily depth of field in terms of the amount of the image that you're capturing, which is what I consider more an aspect of full frame, which it's a little complicated to explain, but like when you start talking about compression of space and zooms, like that's where it all comes into play. So with all that in mind, when you're shooting a Super 35 and you want a lot of compression in the background, which is basically throwing everything in the back out of focus, you can do that by zooming in a lot. And that makes up for the fact that it's a Super 35. So for me, on a 50 mil equivalent, which then it's like, a 70 and change, like that's like probably the limit to where you start to get that look that you want. So I would probably bump up against that 55 and get a little frustrated and be like, all right, it's soft at 55. Like I wish I had more. And I felt that happening when we were out on the street. I kept zooming in to get that compression, to get that depth of focus, and feeling like I just wanted to go a little bit further. And so I think that's the biggest kind of drawback, is that you're gonna have to, for that look, to emulate the full frame look, you're gonna have to jump to their, what is it, the 50 to 100?
50 to 125, yeah.
But then the problem is, you lose the flexibility of being able to shoot wide. So you really have to think about like what you want to shoot. And honestly, I don't think that when people are shooting wide, most of the time, they're not looking for that full frame look. People are looking for that full frame look when they're in tight. So knowing that, it's like, this is your like walkabout lens. This is for like your everyday kind of full purpose. Don't worry about that look. But then when you really want that vibe, switch to the 50 to 125. That's how I would look at this. And because I definitely felt that frustration like right around when I started to get to the end of the zoom range. I was like, I wish I had like 10 more millimeters.
And then it looks like we're going to be jumping to the look of it. When you was looking into the monitor, would you deem it as a clinically clean lens that isn't too overly sharp? Is it just subtle enough to get the job done? Can you create something cinematic with it? Without a doubt, I believe so. I mean, heck, everybody's been doing it with the 18 to 35 on this camera, the Sigma Art. But now we have access to Cine lenses on a repetitive basis. I'm thinking that this lens has definitely made its mark as far as like from beginner filmmakers to intermediate filmmakers, as far as giving it that certain cinema look. What are your thoughts on the clinical looks and the characteristics of this lens here?
I think
based off of what you've seen. What you've seen in performance.
I think for anyone who's looking for like their first Cine lens, like I think this would be the right choice. This is the perfect choice because if you're looking for your first Cine lens, you're looking for the features that you can only get on a Cine lens. You're not necessarily looking for this particular aesthetic. If you are looking for that particular aesthetic, then you're not going to be looking at this lens, honestly. You're going to be looking at a lens that has that look that you're going for, whether it's a vintage, the soft look, or if you're, going anamorphic or whatever your options are, like you're gonna go straight to those. But if you just want like a workhorse, like first time Cine lens, like the sharpness is not gonna matter.
Yeah.
You're just gonna be happy with the fact that you have, you know, actual focus gears, the ability to have, you know, parfocal, very little focus breathing. I didn't notice any at all. So you're gonna get all that, and I think that is far more valuable to an entry-level Cine lens than like whether it's sharp or not. I think all those outweigh it. Is it sharp? Yeah, it's super sharp. Does it look very modern? It does have that modern lens look. I don't like that modern lens look, which is why I shoot on vintage lenses. But knowing that, if I wanted, as I was saying before, if I wanted just an everyday, like just set it and forget it kind of like Cine lens, like this 100% go with this.
So far, so good. Love his expertise on this. This guy's been doing this for a long time. You know, I come around, I feel like a newbie around him, but I coherently always pay attention to what he says because I value his opinion, because he has experience and knowledge, and he teaches guys like me. Yeah, don't be humble about it.
I like to teach, that's it.
Yes, he likes to teach, and I like to absorb information and knowledge, and this is the place I come to get it. So this guy has a YouTube channel that's going to be launching. I'm so excited for it because he's going to be teaching so much crazy. He's got craziness going on now. Even I'm baffled. Like, this is crazy. He's got. I'm not going to give away his secret sauce. He got some sauce going on. We got aperture novas going on. We got what else we got down there? The 60 watt joint.
60, yeah.
He's got aperture 60s down there. Yeah, he's like the aperture king here. But I love coming to the studio and I love gathering information with him.
That sponsorship deal.
We got to get some sponsorship deals going. Aperture, you got to pay attention to this guy. All right. Go ahead and sign out. Give him all your information so that way we could go ahead and tune into your channel and to what you got going on.
So yeah, I'm launching my YouTube channel where, as we're talking about, it's all about storytelling. Storytelling is such a big topic, so we're not just talking about like visual storytelling, we're talking about the story itself and the plot and the mechanism, all the things so that you can make compelling videos, right? That's what matters most. Like, people want to watch your stuff. Doesn't matter what kind of, like, we're talking shit about aperture, like we're saying, like, it's great equipment, but if you don't have a good story behind it, if people don't want to watch your video, it doesn't matter what lights you have. So that's what I'm gonna be teaching. You can find me on all the platforms at Stephan Brezinsky. That'll be my YouTube and my IG. I'm on Twitter, TikTok, all the platforms, because everyone is these days, right? You gotta be.
I'm gonna tag the shit out of him on this video. I'm gonna be super tagging him. I'm gonna even pay for ad space for this guy. All right, look, we even got harsh shadows because he's experimenting. He's got some secret sauce going on. We're out of here. Big Hodge Media, another episode in the work.